4-0. You know,
perfect day for them.
Perfect day at the office. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I'm, commiserations. I've really just lost my breath there after that ending.
I really wish they could have used that grace period for when you actually, because it stops the timer right at 0 when you actually pick out that offering, and they could have used that time to just maybe clear the space. But it seems at last the fight, was too thick. There was too many people over there.
The faction war forecasts are triumphant in the end. Of course, no. They don't win any steals. They don't win any kicks. All they win is the glory of being the better dream team.
Oh, yeah, and you want this, That's what you live for.
It's bragging rights till the next season, I always feel. You can use it in your stream titles until next season, I feel like.
Yeah, and for the devs, it's just going to be bragging rights forever, right? What they don't tell you is that the dev team that loses, they actually, it's over.
That's it?
Yeah.
Contract. With my own eyes, I can see contract terminations going on here.
Oh, yeah, man, it's serious. Like, why do you think Michael was so alarmed? I get it.
Michael just walked by, and he, I did look at tears in his eyes. So.
Yeah, no, but he did say you guys are doing the best job I've actually ever seen in a caster ever.
Of course, he's always passionate.
That's what his eyes are saying. Yeah.
And then now we're going to be following with another segment where we get to talk to the community about how they feel about the changes, and just get to know about how they're feeling after those games that they just played.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see what they think.
Okay, let's cut over to Luke, but right before that, guys, thank you very much for listening to myself, Vivid Naz, and Guillaume. If you want to find me, guys, I'll be on Twitter at Vivid Naz. And Guillaume, you shouting out anything?
Shout out to making games and playing them. That's what I do.
Amazing. He loves the art that he's part of. Now we're going to cut over to Luke Deshane, who will be conducting the interviews with the community. Thank you very much for watching, guys.
Hey, we are back. So Michael Anthony promised mediocre gameplay earlier, and mediocre it was. So, step back. How many times did you kill him?
I lost count. It was fun to keep track for a while, but after that,
after the first match, it's okay, let's stop doing that.
I started to feel bad for him,
Yeah, not me. I was actually quite happy with your performance, so thank you very much for the show. But also, I'm joined with Kitties, Setback, Dadila, and Nikki. So welcome on the couch. So it was nice seeing you play the game. So how was it for you? It's not your first time in Montreal, so
it was great. Nuke carried them for this game in particular. So oh yeah, it's been great.
Funny thing,
and yeah, because you're 0-4 today, so it was
Nuke.
Well, yeah, but you have Michael Anthony on your side, so it can balance. What about you, Nikki? It's your first time in the studio. So how was your experience playing live with all those people? Oh, I don't. First, he killed Michael Anthony, and he brought us Taffy. So, so there's no reason to hate him. So what about you guys? You are the big winners today, 4-0. It's absolutely incredible. What was your strategy apart from killing Michael Anthony?
That was it. Yeah. That was our only strategy. Yeah, because he's a morale center of the other team, and he's very angry and very emotional. But that's why we love him. But that's also why we picked on him too. So.
What did Dadila? How was it today? First time.
Easy
games. Oh man, that's mean. That is mean.
What do you mean? But no, it's first time in Montreal and a brilliant experience. So it's a brilliant experience. Wonderful. The new hero's top tier.
So you had a chance to play?
I played it for one trivia game, I'm pretty sure.
Sakura.
Yeah,
the end just heard it. So who played Sakura? You all did? You did?
All did. Yep.
So how was it? Maybe starting with you.
It was fun. That tier 4 feat is really fun.
Oh yeah, you
killed the commander.
I saw that at one point. It was awesome.
Yeah, I really liked the moveset, and in the Chaos of 44, the hyper armor is really nice. You can trade pretty efficiently. So yeah, I think it's a really cool character. I really like the unique feats they have. I really like the aesthetic a lot. So it was a lot of fun.
What about you, Nikki? Now that your mic is working.
Yeah. It was just, we were very nervous, but it was a lot of fun. Everyone was having a good time.
And did you play with the HITOKIRI?
I mostly practiced playing against her since I wasn't going to be playing her on stream.
Okay. So what about you, Dadila? You tried HITOKIRI or?
Yeah, I personally love the animations of the heroes. It's so smooth. It's brilliant. The tier 4, here for one tribute match.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Did you get a chance to play it?
I played her all 4 matches.
Okay, all 4 matches.
As a Shigoki main, just being able to swing Hyper Armor Heavies is a dream. So, it was awesome.
Cool. So before we let you go, maybe a special shout out, like we can do any shout out you want to your crew.
Yeah, I'm just going to say love the stream and love you, Mom and Dad. Again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Forgot about that. Well, Nikki, any special shout out before we let you go?
I want to say hi to my boyfriend. I love you. And to the hood. I love you guys.
Oh, that's so sweet. What about you?
I'd just like to say a thank you to the whole community in general. You know, the community itself, it's wholesome, it's great. All the servers know everybody. And a specific shout out to a man that I think we all know, Lord Dem. He's personally supported a lot of the streamers in the community. Me, Setback, Kitties, Nikki, them all, in a great, great way. And he's helped us grow from that. So I'd like to give a personal shout out to you, dude.
Thank you, Lord Dam.
First and foremost, my family, so my wife, who's here with me.
Yes, and she was really proud of you. She was cheering, yeah, kill Michael, like she wouldn't stop.
And then my daughter at home, who I'm going back to soon. And then shout out to the Twitch communities, like my community, for example. But every For Honor Twitch channel that I visit has really tight-knit group, and you know we all trash talk each other lovingly. But it's just the Twitch community in For Honor is pretty special, and I'm a big fan of them. So I appreciate all the support.
And one thing that I love, I know I've done that a couple of times. I did that to Nikki this Monday. Sometimes we'll just pop up in your stream and just say "I," and usually I'm getting a super fun reaction when I do that.
Thank you for the donuts.
Yeah, I brought donuts. So thank you very much for your participation today. It was great having you. So right now, I know a lot of you have been waiting for that moment. We are talking about hero improvements with the Lawbringers and the Raider right back after the show with the one and only Michael Anthony.
So apparently you're allowed to say whatever you want to somebody, and without any regard to somebody's feelings like myself. So it's great. It's fantastic. We're back with our friend Stefan Jawinski and Francis. I really don't like you right now because, Jesus. All right, let's get into it. With this new season, we have hero improvements. We're talking Lawbringer. We're talking about the Raider. Let's get right into it. What are you guys going to present to us first?
Lawbringer, please.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
Selected.
Perfect. Season of the Axe continues, I guess, right?
Yes.
So
versatile weapon becomes more versatile. Is that what we're saying? Is it accurate?
That's exactly the goal, right? Like,
fantastic.
be more versatile. So what are Lawbringer's good things and problems right now? On live, shove on block is a huge problem. It allows Lawbringer to be defensive as he wants, but also means that opponents can basically do no offense because you block fairly freely and you stop their actually good attacks, which are usually the second or third in the chain. So that's a problematic thing on the character. Beyond that, Lawbringer can counterattack, so that's really good without parry options. Can transform into Bombbringer eventually during the 4v4, but cannot initiate, cannot sustain combat, and that's what we want to take a look at and try to fix today, or I guess May 2nd.
Yeah. Next week. Nice.
So let's go through the painful part. Shove and block, removed.
Removed.
That's
completely.
it, gone, out.
Okay, why?
Because everybody wants it.
Okay.
Everybody needs it.
All right.
And
Okay.
even if you don't understand it, it's like, same with Shigoki. We took away the armor, the special armor, because it stopped all offense in the game. We need the game to be more offense-oriented, so this will help opponents, obviously. So what does Lawbringer get in compensation for this?
Please tell me.
A variety of stuff. Let's start with the new chains. Heavy, heavy, heavy coming. And you see we reach the unblockable finisher as well. That's pretty cool. And we've also got heavy, heavy light as an option, which is also cool.
All uninterrupted.
That's where it gets a little interesting.
Oh, okay.
So the light attacks now are 500 across the board, except for the top lights, which are 400 on the first and second. Boom. And the side lights are all 500, and the side lights are not interrupted on block. So then
You can really sustain offense this way.
Exactly. The idea being, once you start attacking, you can continue it. You can get maybe your second hit in, and they have to block. If they block, you get to your unblockable finisher.
Trying to take as many notes as possible because my performances showed I don't know much, right? So just trying to learn here.
You know, we got a whole season to practice, so that's good. What's important? There are a bunch of arcane routes to get to the finisher. Sometimes you get unblockable depending how you got there. Sometimes you wouldn't, depending how you got there. We want that to be the big goal of the character. That's why the side lights are not interrupted on block. That's why the top light is pretty quick. All that kind of stuff. So that's what's going on there. Swift Justice finisher. Let's jump around the character a little bit. After any top heavy finisher, or do you want to parry or
Top heavy finisher, right?
Yeah. Light. Perfect. So you get that there now, which is pretty cool. Other switch, long arm and impale, impaling charge or parry impale. These can both be interrupted by players in the same way that Shigoki's Demon Embrace or Highlander Caber Toss can be interrupted by players. This is an important thing. We've seen this with those characters be very successful in that the ganking is still effective with Shigoki or Shaman or something like that. But it's a little bit less annoying than it is on live right now, where an impale or something like that or a long arm basically guarantees death as all of your teammates hit this victim and they can't do anything, you just die. So here it at least means there's a little more skill involved in that. So that's really cool. I think shove. Shove. Live Lawbringer used to have a weird mix-up where, like, you could throw a light and they couldn't block it, but you could dodge, but the guard break would catch you, so it was this weird, like, thing. It wasn't that good either. So now we're trying to give shove a regular bump reaction, which means that you get the light after it. It is counted as your second light in the chain, so you're seeing him do shove, light, and he can get to his heavy unblockable finisher, which is kind of now the game plan on the offensive side for Lawbringer.
And so when you're bringing these changes to a character, how difficult is it to kind of make sure that you're keeping the identity of the character itself?
So we think that's critical. I mean, like, that's why we talked about at the beginning, like, we think of Lawbringer as a defensive powerhouse. Obviously, I mean, shove and block was the epitome of that, but the parry counters are really the star of the character. The Bombbringer aspect, we keep that, of course, but you see the bit of the attempt to have a mix-up on live, and now we're trying to get that stuff working. So it's really keep the special core of the character, and then bring those aspects that are lacking a little bit. We can maybe talk a little bit, since we're talking about the core of the character, the parry changes. Sorry, we're just going to jump ahead. Francis is going to have to randomly jump all over the place. I'm going to do heavy, and he's going to parry it. Light is still good. top heavy unblockable against the light is guaranteed, and you get the light riposte or light extra hit after that. And the new fun stuff. Yeah, Make Way is now super armor unblockable.
Is that just after the parry, or is that always?
That one's just after the parry.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, and should help with what Lawbringer really wants is that I get my parries and I can do something cool. And in a group fight, when people are trying to mess you up, you can actually be, okay, I parried this guy. I'm not as vulnerable as I used to be against a mess of people. So that's pretty cool.
Do you see his role within like a team or anything evolve, or does it stay relatively similar? I know you talked about keeping the identity of the character, so I would assume that you maybe want to keep that.
I think it's going to be fairly similar. You're still going to want to try to gank with a long arm and the occasional impale. I think if you end up getting that parry in your fight, you're going to be able to go, okay, I hit. The light, oh, I'm sorry, parry light goes to your second light. So you can continue the chain. I'll throw a heavy for you. You can.
Which one?
Light. Yep. So parry.
Excellent execution, by the way.
Thank you.
Light riposte can go to your second light in the chain before it could only go to the second heavy in the chain and the first light in the chain. This helps you get a little further into the chain to get to that finisher, of course. Let's jump back to Shove real quick because there's some stuff different on that. Shove in the chain now has armor, is now 500 MS. What else does it have? It gives you the free lights, and it can be done after any heavy, on hit, on miss, or on block. And here you see miss, and you got to shove. And you can do it on block, whatever you want. So you can be a bit more creative in what are you going to throw, and really we want to see Lawbringers go, okay, I got a hit, let's throw a second attack of some kind and keep it going.
So as opposed to before where you felt that the character was lacking that opportunity to do something. It was just more standing back, blocking, that was it?
Definitely,
okay.
Definitely yes. You would get your one free hit from whatever punish, and then you stop.
Okay.
But now we want Lawbringers to keep going through. Is that the long and short of Lawbringer?
Yep.
Cool.
And obviously we're going to have the patch notes ready to go next week where you guys will be able to revisit all of these details. We can head in right into the Raider, who's also gotten some love for this season, correct?
Let's do it.
So he's been getting demolished, but now it's his turn to demolish the Lawbringer, so
yeah.
let's take a look.
Swapperoonie. So why do we pick Raider? What do we want to do on Raider? Kind of some similar stuff. Raider has some difficulty initiating, let's say. Has difficulty sustaining combat. Can counterattack with dodge guard break, for example. Can do out of stamina bullying with showing you Raider's Fury, sometimes fainting it, pouring it back into the wall, and can gank in group fights and so on, right? That's what Raider's doing right now. Again, we want to see the initiation be improved, and again, we want to see the ability to go through the chain and make some choices about why do you go through the chain rather than always going to Raider's Fury. So that's roughly it. So how do we get there? We improved the chains. We had 3 on the Raider, so we're going to see light, light, heavy. Cool. We're going to see light, heavy, heavy. And finally, we're going to see heavy, light, light. And you might be noticing that all the lights in the chain are 500 MS. So that's pretty cool. You can use them as opposed to the 6 and 700 and 10,000. I don't even know. It's so long. It's been a long time since I've seen a Raider. Like,
there you go.
So.
And so for the below average player like myself, what difference does this make in terms of
I would say honestly very little. Watching your gameplay, you're getting hit by all kinds of stuff. So I think a 500 MS versus 600 MS is not going to matter.
You know, I thought I had one ally in this, and I was wrong. But please continue. Please.
It's free, right? Heavy attacks, we also saw second heavy in the chains and the third heavy get super armor. This is really important for us because before you would always do Raider's Fury. What's better than an unblockable versus a normal? Nothing, right? So at least now you get to make a choice of, okay, I will want to trade with my super armor, and you have a real choice between Raider's Fury and continuing your chain through heavies. So that's pretty cool. Heavies also get a big buff. All heavies through the character, including the zones, can be feinted to guard break. So soft feinted to guard break, you see there?
That got me a couple of times.
Yeah. I watched Alex use it quite a bit, so that was pretty cool. And what else? The stunning tap can also be, is always now 500 ms. It used to be 600 ms.
That one is a pain. That one is a real pain.
Look at Francis go.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
This
all
is stamina
flashing
timing.
back
Yeah,
right
okay.
now.
It's good. And the variable timing is also a thing. Yes, thank you. So you can switch up when during your heavy a little bit, will you be able to launch a stunning tap? So I think you have to practice it and touch it to really feel that one. But that'll be next week, so it'll be really cool to try out. So yes, hopefully everything is dangerous now. Cool. Zone attack. You might have seen, we also had the problem with two things, like understandability and wanting to have a little more options to how do you launch your Radius Fury. Radius Fury is always from the right. Zone attack was always from the right. Both were 900 ms. There was a big damage differential where we had 28 and 50. We want to keep that aspect of it, but we want you to very clearly understand it's my zone attack, which is now called Raiders Storm, and that will be from the left, and that's your from neutral zone attack, whereas Raiders Fury will stay from the right, stay 50 damage, and so on. The big benefits you get are the opponent will understand this is the less damaging one, and this is a crazy damaging one. And you will understand, you'll have the ability to say, okay, from neutral, I'll be able to hit these guys, and if I'm chaining, I'll be able to hit these guys. Just a little more ability to care about your target swapped attacks. So that's super cool. What else? Stampede Shard, thank you, is now interruptible by opponents. Same thing as Lawbringer, same thing as Shigoki Demon Embrace. So it should be a little less annoying in ganks. And yet, we saw in those games, Raider was still able to be effective and people were able to time things properly. So hope that your teammates are paying attention and everything will be all right. Do we want to do damage on both characters? I missed it on Lawbringer.
Yeah, may as well go through a little jogging of that.
All right, Raider. Here we go. Second side heavy is now 35 damage, was 30. Second top heavy is now 40, was 35. Side light finishers are now 18, were 15. Top light finisher is now 22, was 15. Side heavy finishers are now 40, were 30. Top heavy finisher is now 48, was 30. And sprint attack, aka reaping charge, is now 35. And gets blocked. Was 25.
I didn't even notice that you were doing all of the moves as the cheese.
He's so good.
Next level.
He's like my second half. But yes, with those damage increases, also we can care about like, hey, there's a real reason to use this instead of Raiders Fury in certain situations. We'll quickly go down Lawbringers. Top light finisher is now 20, was 15.
Do you want to do a quick swap just to showcase the moves again?
Do you want to show it?
If that's worth it.
Okay, cool.
May as well.
Top light finisher is now 20, was 15. Side light finisher is now 18, was 15. Top heavy finisher is now 40, was 35. And side heavy finishers are now 38, were 30. So get out there and crush a few noobs.
So much more versatile.
Yes.
So much more.
Ultra versatile.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, thank you guys for your time. If we could just turn the page to the next.
The one gameplay feature I do want to,
yes,
before you throw away, if you can, to the next segment, is stance change 100 ms.
Okay, so this is on. This is not necessarily on the Raider and the Lawbringer?
That's correct. That's on all static guard heroes, so not the assassins, not Shaolin, but everyone else, Lawbringer, Raider, Warden, whoever, can now switch stance and then launch an attack at 100 ms.
Okay, cool.
Before it used to be 300 ms, so you go like over, wait, and then attack. Now you can just go over and attack.
Okay. Nice.
So,
is there a specific reason why you guys felt the need to change that specifically?
Yeah, you want to be able to throw an attack from the three sides. It's really weird to be a three stance, like trying to threaten from three stances, but these guys cannot. Mm-hmm. Assassins could, and now everybody can.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, thank you again, guys. Really appreciate the time. And these are really great changes that are coming to some original roster heroes, if I can call them that way. So that'll be available starting next week with the title update on May 2nd with, obviously, Sakura, Year 3, Season 2. We'll be right back with Justin and Anthony. for Weapon Showcase.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the For Honor Year 3 Season 2 reveal. We got an awesome segment coming up for you guys where we're going to be taking a look at the weapons of the HITOKIRI. I got my man Anthony, texture artist, to run us through it, and Mike joins us on the couch as well. Mike, a.k.a. Mediocre Kensei, a.k.a. Thick Prosciutto.
How many goddamn
AKA
things do I need? Okay. Oh,
Big
one more?
M10.
Yes, excellent.
There you
Yes,
go.
that's the one.
Yeah. And also, if anybody out there doesn't know, Mike's handle on a few games is Thick Prosciutto.
Listen, thank you for making that a public information.
Of course.
But
I'm glad I could.
I'm honestly, to transition,
Yeah.
we're going to be showcasing weapons.
Speaking of cutting,
Yeah,
thick
let's
prosciutto,
cutting the prosciutto. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about these.
let's take a look at the
tools.
weapons of the HITOKIRI.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Weapon right here.
Well,
Incredible.
see, that's I like my prosciutto thin. So,
Well, that's
so I hope I can cut them
you've
very
been taught
thin.
wrong,
with
my
these
friend.
axes.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about it. So it's called the Ono or Masakari. So I think that's the traditional Japanese name for it. So it describes a hatchet or an axe. One of these names is used for the tool itself. The other one's for the weapon. I'm not sure which is which. So this is the weapon itself. So beautiful weapon. The original traditional weapon, that's the Ono or the Masakari, is a one-sided weapon. So the blade is only on one side. But for the HITOKIRI in our game, the Executioner, so we decided to go with a two-sided blade. Gives a lot more leeway for artistic freedom. So
Yeah, you got a lot of surface to play with, correct?
exactly. So we got a lot of surface. As you can see, we can create so much, like a really different design
Just
each time.
absolutely beautiful.
These are absolutely incredible. I love the design
Yeah.
of all the different axes, and I've also been told that I need to close my legs, which is a thing that I'd never thought I would be told to do. But these are beautiful axes, and you integrate some of the story into the axes. As well,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. So what we tend to do usually is we have the original weapons. So the basic one are more traditional looking, and then when you go higher in ranking, you'll get more of the story transcribed through the weapon itself. So it really fits with the personality of the character and the background of the character also. So you got some really representative demon figures on these weapons. There's a lot of leeway
that
for
one
it.
I absolutely love. The white,
The black
the
and
other
white.
Yeah,
one
gotta
with the
say,
ivory.
gotta
Like,
say.
that is, it's just absolutely beautiful. The amount of detail that.
Yeah,
are
it
little
doesn't look like it
in
would
these
be a
axes.
clean cut. It looks more painful for some reason.
Oh, absolutely.
With the
definitely
teeth.
be a painful cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like this one right here,
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. Actually, the one that's integrated in the CGI trailer, if I'm not
Exactly.
mistaken.
So yeah, this one is the one that's in the trailer. Yeah.
And there's so much detail on this health.
Is that
Yeah,
the little
so you get
mask?
the
yeah,
little
little,
mask.
little head right there.
So very representative of the character itself. you've seen these on the character, and the demon sides of it. It's pretty beautiful.
Well, I really like this one because it tells a story. Right?
Exactly.
It tells the story of the Hitokiri. It shows the demons within. It has a bit of that duality.
Soul collecting vibe.
Yeah, soul collecting vibe, demon vibe.
Murdery.
Axe cutty
Yeah.
vibe. I really like it. But it also shows the duality of the character that we've been talking about from an art side, from a narrative side, where there is that kind of light and darkness to this character. It's not so cut and dry that this character is so.
That's because they actually
so evil.
believe in what they're doing, right?
Right.
So they think
and they're enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah,
as well.
they say that you have the most fun at work when you're passionate about it. So
yeah, you'll never have to work a day in your life if you love what you do.
Exactly.
And the Hitokiri clearly love what they do, which is chopping off
heads
and soul sucking. Yeah.
They take pleasure in it, and you can see it like through the weapon for sure.
And what's your favorite one, Anthony?
That last one, the Bloodstone. I'm a materials guy, so what I look at is everything that's different on this weapon. You get everything. So this Bloodstone is beautiful. It's working really well, and the whole weapon tells this big story for the character. I really enjoy this one.
Nice. Super beautiful. I love the color in that handle. Mike, what's your favorite?
Well, we covered the white ivory one, which is beautiful. But I mean, you take any pick here. Honestly, I feel like they're all effective at what they do.
Yeah,
which is
especially I love the spikes on that.
Yeah,
on
this
the
one
blade
just
of
looks
that one.
like it
So
hurts
cool.
more. That's why it's my favorite, and it looks beautiful. So
yeah,
and I don't know what's going on in the middle, but it's scary.
So where do you draw a lot of the inspiration for these axes, and how do you build them out? I assume it's a team that you guys work with together that sort of focus on some main themes and then put it all together.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a big team that works on this, and usually what we go for is the backstory of the character. We know what the weapon is, we know the backstory of this character, and we try to transcribe it through the weapon. It goes through a long process. Let's say it takes a couple of months to do this, so we go through design for sure. So the directors will go through the designs with the concept artists and everybody involved in this. And it goes down to the art in the end. So what you see, there's a lot of artists working on this, so a lot of back and forth through ideas and visual, and this is what you get in the end.
Very cool, very cool.
Well, the hard work has paid off. So,
thank you, guys.
Absolutely beautiful. Why don't we take a look at the other weapons for the other characters?
That's right. We're not done.
We are not done. Those axes look beautiful, but we have a whole bunch of other weapons to take a look at for the other characters.
Just like every season, correct, Anthony?
Yeah. So these are the weapons for the original roster. So
starting off with the Warden?
The Warden sword, right. So this is as you're usually seeing it.
So when you're creating these weapons for the other characters, what kinds of themes and what kinds of materials and textures that you're looking at that fit within the character itself, but also expands on them?
Yeah, so for these ones, these are usually, since they're not event weapons, we don't go into a specific thematic for these ones. So what we'll do is just, it's a creation, so it's pretty much liberty. So you have a more freedom to create these, so you're not constrained inside of an event or something to create a collection of weapons. These ones are really to add to your other weapons that you have. So you can either, if you like one piece of this, you can use it. If you like the whole weapon, you can go ahead and use the whole weapon. And it's really to add some more.
Just some more depth and creativity and beauty.
Exactly.
To some of their weapons. These are really interesting design here as well. It looks like the weapons have been kind of touched by ghosts or demons. And, very cool looking.
We've been working a lot lately with materials, so we develop new recipes for them, and we are working with the lighting to make it like work better and better every time.
I love the wood on that shield where it's all charred.
Wood,
It's very cool.
What I also really like is that it's not necessarily every season to go, more flashy. It's more a question of what fits with the character and how does it speak to the specific mains that maybe players play. And maybe it's more of a minimalist look. Like this one here,
exactly.
It's like a relic-looking thing,
Right.
not overly flashy, but absolutely stunning when you take a look at it from a closer eye.
And when you talk about mixing materials and mixing textures to build something new, what's that process like? Do you kind of just experiment, throw a couple things out there, see what works, or do you go in with like a specific look that you're looking for?
No, usually we go for something specific that we're looking for. It's pretty hard to throw something and make it work. You're not really going to find it appealing to the eye, so you want to try to find that balance for every weapon. So the colors, the type of material that you get. So as you can see here, like you've got paint and wood, then you have this copper, then you have the amber on top there. It's just a little
tiny touch, but it makes it pop.
It just finalizes the thing. Then you get these little details like these engravings on the handle. So every little detail is pretty much like trying to find the balance for the whole weapon.
Nice, very cool.
Really this one has team color applied on it, so
this will vary whenever you change from attacker, defender, you're in duels.
Exactly, depends on your color swatch. So when you get this weapon, you'll have some team color applied to it.
Absolutely beautiful. I love the textures that you put on the blades as well.
Yeah, this is
just makes it look like you can tell like this is a heavier weapon. You can tell which weapons are lighter. It's just the attention to detail makes all the difference.
Yeah, and you can feel the craftsmanship on it. Like you can see that these weapons were made by expert blacksmiths.
Yeah,
really honing their craft. It's so
nice.
cool.
Yeah, that's nice that you say this because this one looks like hammered metal. So like it looks like somebody took its time to really etch that weapon. Yeah, exactly. These ones had a little bit of an inspiration, a special inspiration.
I love the hilt on that one.
Yeah.
It's something called that's for the Kensei. It's something that's a traditional Japanese that's called inro. So what they did is they took like a certain container, they made it from wood and lacquer. It's a lacquer wood. It's a beautiful black lacquer wood, and they would have pearl inlay in it. And we got inspired from this to create this. So the samurai weapons that you see here.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, it looks incredible. You can see I love the subtlety on some of these weapons too.
This one is great.
Really,
this one, you get a lot of space to work on, and you'll see that this pearl inlay that I was talking about is really takes. It is really alive on this one.
Wow.
That's so pretty.
Yeah,
it's like a really beautiful murder weapon. You'll be like looking at it and you'll be like, oh, this is gorgeous.
Nice. At least
this is beautiful. as it hits you in the face.
I don't know if it'll be clean though.
No, it won't be clean at all. Be very dirty.
What a shame.
And we got the Woolen's weapons.
So you really just try and keep the weapons close to what the characters are about and who they are.
Personality,
but really, keeping within the personality, but
exactly.
And their faction, of course, but
and
adding in that sort of theme of the Hitokiri.
And the whole goal is really for the players themselves to kind of mix and match and tell their own story with all of this, correct?
Right, exactly. So if you have like this one character in particular, it always has his signature, and then you can mix and match for what you're looking for on the weapon itself. So you got something that's more frivolous, and you got something that's more tamed down, so you can really create your own look for it.
Absolutely breathtaking.
Those are awesome, man. Thank you so much, Anthony, for running us through that. That's really beautiful. Coming up right next, right now, don't go anywhere because we got arcade updates with Phil, and Mike's going to stay on the couch with you guys.
Yes.
And that's coming up right after this.
Joined back now with Mr. Phil Grégoire.
Yes, sir.
From our Game Modes team,
yeah.
who's going to present us all of the new updates that are coming up with arcade mode.
Yeah.
So the best thing about this is that there's a beautiful PowerPoint presentation that you have, and I absolutely love PowerPoint. So let's get right into it.
Sure, yeah. Well, arcade this season, we actually have a big update. It's quite cool. So I'm going to go over with you guys what we have for you. First of all, we had an overall, two goals for this season. First of all, we wanted to improve some of the accessibility of the arcade mode. And, of course, the big one is we wanted to address the difficulty. These two topics, we got a lot of feedback on them through the last few months on Reddit, the forums, and everything. And so for this season, we had time to address some of those feedbacks. So we'll go through them with you guys. About the accessibility, so this is all about how do players access the content, what content they can play in arcade, and just like the ease of understanding everything that's going on.
And before you get into the actual changes, is there a reason specifically why these were the two main kind of pillars that you guys wanted to address?
Clearly, it's mostly a matter of like the volume of feedback that we've received. There was a lot of other things that we could have done, but these two topics were especially true for so that we can really improve arcade right from the start for this season, and then we can see if some other topics that we wanted to tackle are still going to be relevant or not, maybe after this kind of update.
Okay.
So these two can change a lot about what the player's perception is going to be on the arcade mode.
Awesome.
So the first thing that we've done regarding the weekly quest, so this is one of the examples of the quests that we've had in the past, and with the magic of PowerPoint, we're going to get an update.
Oh, what a smooth transition.
Wow. I'm sure you're proud of me on that.
That's actually very professional.
So what we did is that we've reduced the recommended gear score of the weekly quest to 108. So we basically went down full gear rarity. Before it was 162, now it's 108. So we've done that especially to make it so that more players can enjoy this content. It was being at 162 reduced a lot of the amount of players that could access the content.
Yeah, so you're lowering that entry to barrier, basically.
Exactly. That's what we're doing. And at the same time, by doing this change, we're actually reducing the overall difficulty of the weekly quest, because the gear score that you bring in has debuffs or buffs depending on the score you have when you go in. So now if you're 180 going in 108, then you're going to get more buffs than you were before. So we are rewarding you for having brought your character full gear way more than before.
Awesome.
The next one is a small user interface update that we did. So we added the objective of the chapter during the loading screen and as a pop-up message when the chapter starts. So this is basically because in the past we've added 2 new objective types in arcade for the weekly quest. We've added a survive like we see here, and we've added the kill target objective. So with these 2, we now have 3. So the default eliminate everybody, the survive and the kill target. The problem that we were facing is that you wouldn't know which kind of objective you were going to face until the actual encounter starts. And we all know that sometimes
the encounters can start right away.
Right away,
and so you got to be ready to go.
Exactly. You can have a bot right in your face from the start. So we wanted to give players a chance to actually know what's going to happen.
Yes,
Mentally prepare, yeah.
Okay.
So we have it in the loading screen right here, like we see, survive at the top left. And then we get this pop-up that appears that is bigger than the objective text, so that you can quickly catch it with your eyes, and then it disappears so that it's not in the way anymore.
Nice.
So those are our 2 main topics that we address for accessibility. Now we're going to move on to the difficulty, which is a pretty big one. So basically, if we go right to the point, we've rebalanced the whole impact of the player's gear score regarding the rarity levels when they're playing both random arcade and weekly quests. Beautiful sentence written here. What does it actually mean?
Please elaborate. Yes.
It's quite simple. Players before they bring a gear score into one of the 5 different difficulty levels we have, and they're getting buffed or debuffed based on that. So if you're under the recommended gear score, you're getting debuffed, you're getting penalties to both damage output and damage input. And now and if you were going in over, if you were going in a rarity with over the gear score over the recommended, you could still be debuffed based on the difficulty. So the higher difficulty ones, we were still applying some debuff even if you were over the recommended gear score. Exactly. It was a way to it was a way to control the difficulty levels. We really saw through the data that was too much. Those two last difficulty levels, so the epic and the legendary ones, were really too hard. We were seeing that people were not completing them as much as we wanted, so we've addressed that. Right away, what now is the impact for a player is that no matter what the rarity quest he's going to go in, if you're under the recommended gear score, you get penalties like before. If you're on par, so if you're right on the good amount of gear score you need, no penalties at all. And if you're above the recommended gear score, you'll always get bonus to damage dealt and damage received.
And so for those people that aren't necessarily that familiar with arcade, but that means basically for legendary, you only have two options. You have on par or below.
Actually, no, because in the legendary quest, the recommended one is 144 for the recommended gear score, and you can actually reach 180 if you craft your gear up to the max.
I see.
So we can actually, in that case, also gain a lot more damage output to increase your effectiveness in those quests.
Okay, awesome.
So that really changes the whole game for arcade in terms of difficulty. That's applied for all the rarities, so everything is going to get shifted down a bit. So hopefully we're going to see a lot more people completing quests overall. And what this has as a side effect, let's say, it's a change that we did, is that to compensate for that big of a change in difficulty, we're actually going to give a little bit more health to bots as the difficulty levels go up. And they're also going to gain a slight attack boost. So they're going to deal a little bit more attack than they were before. So that's just to compensate for that big difference in how the player is getting buffed or debuffed depending on the gear score he brings in arcade.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing we've done for the arcade mode as a whole is that we've addressed one of the big issues we had with bots where sometimes they can be impenetrable. So right now you're going to see bots that are much easier to attack, to chain, to apply your special moves and everything against. So that goes for block, dodge, parry, deflect. They are much less effective than before.
So this is, I guess, in relation to what the players want and what the shift is in terms of the meta, which is, you guys want to promote attack more than just defense, right?
Yeah, it's the same kind of issues that the fight team is facing with the meta in player versus player game modes, and it's a thing that we wanted to address as well in arcade. And then we can see it as a potential test bed for bots in PvP as well. If player feels that arcade is a good spot for bots right now, we may go forward and try to test these changes in PvP as well down the line.
Awesome.
And so, the last thing I have to share with you guys today is about the weekly quest rotation. So every week every week we had a new weekly quest that was offered to the player. Starting this season, we're actually going to start reintroducing old quests that we've did, so previous quests that were there before. But we will still be doing new quests, that's for sure. So every season there will be a selection of new quests that will come in for the whole community. But you will see those previous weekly quests that we've done come back, and that changes is mostly to make us give us the ability to work on content like we're doing right now, like updating the arcade mode as a whole and not just tackling always new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives the people a little bit more of an opportunity to play actually those quests if they missed one week or something.
So right now it's a mentality of once it's out and it's gone,
it's
you
a one
can't
and done.
replay it. So it's a bit sad for us because it's content we've actually worked on. We want the players to be able to enjoy it. And like you said, those who missed it, then they could replay it.
And you also have an opportunity to address any feedback on those quests
Exactly, that's
as
the
well.
big thing that we can do. We, of course, can go back, see the feedback that we've received on those quests, address anything that's really major, change modifiers on bots, change the nature of some bots, stuff like that. We can do anything on those. For sure, they will keep the same narrative that's around, but we can address some of those big points that people had feedback on during those quests. So that's pretty much it for arcade, for the big things for arcade.
For year 3, season 2.
Exactly, for year 3,
Sakura.
season 2. Sakura.
There you go, Sakura. Awesome. Well, if there's nothing else to add for arcade, we're actually gonna have the community. I'm not sure if it's everyone, but yes, it is. So no, it's not. Setback and Kitties, who are going to join us for a little gameplay for arcade with all of these changes that you announced. Be able to preview that, and we'll be right back with Luke, Kitties, and Setback.
And we are back on the couch. Phil is still with me.
Yes.
We gave Michael Anthony a break because he did give him a lot of himself so far. So right now he's resting a bit. Back with Setback and Kitties. How are you guys?
Good, doing well.
Good. So right now we are going into a challenge with arcade. Kitties didn't win a single match today. So now it's his chance to get his revenge against you. Because the challenge will be, Phil, they will both play the same quest.
Exactly, yes. So actually, it's the quest that's launching next week. With the launch of the season. So players are going to get a sneak peek of it.
Oh.
And
so right now, so you have to know that Setback usually plays with a mouse and keyboard. So now he's getting on with the controller.
I think I got it down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, the other way around.
Let me help you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
exactly. Yeah, we have to tell him everything. Okay, so guys, are you ready? Do that countdown like they do when we go to the show. So 3, 2. The first one to finish wins.
Go. Wait, he's cheating. He's qualified.
Okay, he has a second. So the HITOKIRI of Joko. There was once a warrior who had lost everything and everyone. I couldn't finish it. So, Kitty's going with the Shigoki.
Yeah, Kitty's Shigoki. And Setback Raider.
Raider.
So this first encounter is basically a 1v1, pure 1v1. None of the two teams have modifiers. So the player has none, and the HITOKIRI has none as well. So this is actually a chance for the players that are going to be playing arcade to get introduced to the new hero for the season. So this first encounter is all about reacting to her new moveset and everything.
Right now, what we can see, it's Kitties. He's actually facing the HITOKIRI right now on the main screen. He's almost dead. I don't know what's
Yeah,
happening with
already
him. While
almost
Setback
dead.
is doing a pretty good job. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Nice
That's
move.
good.
So let's see if we'll manage to overcome.
Oh.
Oh. He's going down. So will Setback win his
One
first
death
duel? So right now we're cutting on Setback to see what he will do. If he will manage to succeed in face of the HITOKIRI. Oh, the knee in the face. I always like that move.
Yeah, good damage there. So he's pretty much putting the HITOKIRI in a bad position here.
Yeah. And during that time, Kitty came back. He's in his second try. Things are going better for him. And Setback has a way right now maybe to take the advantage in the fight, but he's about to go down. Oh, hey. Whew. And Kitty lost a match, came back and won. So Kitty already finished the first quest. So he's going to move to Chapter 2, Yokan Jigoku. Setback doesn't have any gear, so he's going to lose. Let's restart. So we have to restart. I just read the note that Alex gave me, so you don't have any gear. You're going to lose, dude.
I just beat it. I beat the
You
first
did,
chapter.
but you're going to lose everything. So let's restart. We're going to restart this.
All right, let's continue.
That's what happened when you're live. Things like that happen. So we're going to restart this. And
Wait, does gear include a mouse and keyboard as well, or just in my character? Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's
it's a character. So
fine. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Let's get out of there. So do we need any help to restart this? Or are we good?
No, it should be good.
We should be good. Because if you're asking me to fix any technical problems, I don't know. I say if you're asking me to fix technical problems, and
Just go
everybody start
see-
laughing. I don't know why is that. So maybe
Ready?
If you are.
Okay.
you are ready. Are you
Wait,
ready?
do I have to go get
Okay.
add gear? Do I
Don't
have
go
to
to
check-
any, don't go to far.
check your
maybe.
barracks to go see.
Okay.
Okay.
I should back out first. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. So
you
take two.
Load out.
There you go.
we go.
Okay.
All right.
Ah. So now you have no excuse to lose.
But he
So-
actually did it though.
Yeah, you did it. Okay. So I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
you
are
bought
there.
a gear.
Yeah.
Perfect. So go. Perfect sync.
Now, go ahead, Luke.
There was once a warrior, but lost everything and everyone. Wandering in the eerie lands of Jigoku, they crossed path with the clan of HITOKIRI. Yes, I did it.
All right. We both have picked a loadout with gear.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
So before Setback was slowing down the group, so now he's back with us. That's good. So again, Shiguki and the Raider. So let's see what is going to happen. Again, they have no modifier.
Exactly.
First chapter.
All right. Kitty's starting.
Yeah, that's why we have Kitty on the main screen. So Setback has a bit less
I'm
pressure.
doing a little bit more damage now. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, you know. So who's better, the HITOKIRI you're facing or Michael Anthony?
It's pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, nice parry from. Oh.
And it should be right there.
And
Go.
nice win.
All right.
Shiguki
How about
just won.
Setback?
So Kitty just finished one chapter.
That's not too bad as well.
Yeah.
Still, like almost full health. And there you go. Yeah.
And here we go. One victory on each side. So Setback is a little bit behind. So we'll go back on the main screen with Kitties with a Shiguki. So Kyokan, prove us wrong. Prove to us that you can endure all hardship. The HITOKIRI shouted. There was a second line. No, I have no time to read. But maybe one of you will die. And then we'll have it.
Yeah, I probably will.
Now I'm facing two opponents.
Exactly, yeah. Two opponents, an Ibushi and still a HITOKIRI. The HITOKIRI has more health, the Ibushi does more damage. But the player has both of those same modifiers. And yeah, basically, Kitty's already won his.
Wow, already?
Yep, he went fast.
He's in chapter 3. No pressure.
No
Went
pressure.
Chapter 3. Setback is pretty good, in good shape. He already beat the Nobushi as well.
So chapter 3, maybe it's a bit fast to talk about it, but he's facing 3 opponents. Here we go.
Yeah. So in this one, this is one of the new objectives that we've added in the last update. So it's a kill target. So only the Hitokiri counts for the win. If he kills the other two, they won't actually give him any benefit. But they are going to be respawning at all times. So it's up to him to decide if he wants to dispose of them, to be able to deal with the Hitokiri more easily. But as well, keeping those two alive could give him some revenge and other benefits. And right away, here we go.
Already a win, and Senbak is walking into chapter 3 as we speak.
Fast.
So, yeah, man, you're our machines. So again, we have a take 2 because right now we're going to see what Setback is going to do, while Kitties is going into chapter 4, facing on his side how many?
Three
Hitokiris.
Yeah. So this one, the last encounter, this is a survive. So he needs to survive 2 minutes without dying, of course. He has a lot of modifiers to help him with that. And as for the Hitokiris, they each have a different modifier, and they all have less health than before, than they usually have.
Survive 2 minutes, something Michael Anthony didn't manage to do earlier today.
All right, yeah.
Senbak just lost.
For the survive.
Yeah, so Kitty is about to save face. He survived 30 seconds so far. I like that shot. Rub the belly.
So during the first 30 seconds of this encounter, bots are, let's say, easy on you. They don't all attack at the same time. But like right now, it's going to all change. They're going to respawn. They're going to be coming for him. So he may die more quickly than he anticipated.
Now he's going to go into revenge.
Yeah. Got one out. Yeah. So one of the modifiers in this quest is actually you get more health if you kill an enemy.
He went down after 1 minute. And the same did Setback. So we have a synchronized death.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually exactly one against the other.
How do you switch targets on controller?
You left trigger.
That's how I lock on.
Click
you're holding out on me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's waiting for you. He's rehearsing right now.
I figured it out.
Could he just run around to save time?
He could, but good luck on that. In this map, there's a lot of minions that can remove some health on the player, but also bots in this kind of encounter do have a slight speed buff.
Okay.
So if eventually you start running around, they'll catch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he survived for a minute in his first attempt. So right now he's in his second attempt.
Yeah, he has the shield, but he only has like maybe 10 health.
Yeah. His health is going down. He's about to kill that one. Oops, and he's down again.
Yeah. So Setback. In this encounter, he does have health regen, as you can see. So he's healing over time. So he can, like we're seeing here, he can retreat, gain back some health, and eventually try to kill his opponent.
Die.
In this case, eventually die.
Poor guy. Oh, and we're back with Kitties in the 4th chapter. How many chapters?
This is actually the last. So there's 4 chapters in the weekly quest. Yeah. I feel good about this one for Kitties.
Yeah, he's facing the area.
The Hitokiri, but
the area Hitokiri.
Ibiki.
I love his hairstyle. I wonder how he can see through that look.
Oh.
Right. Oh, nice.
And because of the shield, he doesn't get interrupted. So now he gained a lot of health back. Yeah. That's great for him.
With the execution. Nice parry. And guess what?
I killed it.
Yeah,
no, it's so long.
Okay, you can do it. Go, Setback, go. Go, Setback, go.
If Setback can't do it, no.
Oh, 48 seconds left.
Kitties is almost there.
Yeah, with a good amount of health.
And
things are looking nice for Kitty. 40 seconds. Will he manage to survive those 40 seconds and win this chapter?
He's got almost 30.
Oh, things are not. 30 seconds.
One. Yeah.
Let's go, Kitty. You can do it. Bot. You can do it. 25. Wow. Oh, and now Setback is coming in.
Oh, if you want to take a break, you can.
Oh, man.
17.
I'm stressed right now.
Seconds.
15 seconds. 14.
Minion.
Oh, man. 10, 9, 8,
Oh,
7,
no.
6. In revenge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
Victory!
Quest complete.
Oh,
Quest
complete. Wow, nice job.
That's awesome.
While Setback is in Chapter 4 right now, so he's... Do we give him a bit of that? Let's give you a chance to finish that.
All right. One chance?
Yeah, come on. Like,
no pressure.
We have other things to attend today. No,
as long as
it's been on for 30 seconds. That's good.
Yeah, he's playing much more defensive than Kitty was.
But at this stage, we can say that Kitty won that challenge.
He did.
So after losing 4 straight matches in Breach and Tribute today, he came in and won the arcade challenge.
All right, almost 1 minute down for Setback.
A lot of help. That's good.
Yeah.
And you're right, he is playing defensive.
Yeah.
One thing we often said about arcade is that it's kind of a puzzle.
Yeah.
So you need to understand how to beat the chapter. And in that case, I guess being defensive is a good thing.
Yeah.
He has still a lot of health. 50 seconds left.
Yeah, one of his modifier gives him a bit more revenge generation. So this way he can wait for the revenge to build and go on the offensive when he has the revenge, like exactly what he did right there.
Yeah.
And then look at this bot.
Wow, so honorable. Thank you.
So honorable.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's good. Man, you're doing a good job. Your health's almost full. And we almost have 2 winners.
Yeah.
20 seconds left. Can you survive those 15 seconds left? Oh, yeah, you're going to revenge. I think, man, this is your first attempt in this chapter. And you're going to do it. Thankfully, Kitty's won because this last encounter, because you won this tournament. 3,
here we go.
2, 1. And here we go. Quest complete. Congrats.
Thank you.
Man, that was tight. Like Kitty's had a head start because if not with that head start, you managed to do it in only one shot.
Yeah. Even with controller.